time has come, we will stand together stronger than we've ever done. And like the sun, we will rise at dawn and never stop until we've won. The time has come, we will rise like the sun and we'll never run. And we will fight till we won. We will bite, we will smite all through the night. We'll never sleep, never rest. Put the faith to the test, the self-obsessed, self-confessed, self-professed, divinity, nobility. Your God is a fraud, so stop. We're done with the violence and the fury and the cruelty. I said we're done. We will win the war, we'll win the fight, the end's in sight. All you see in us is barbarian, but all we want is to be equalitarian. We will rock, we will never stop, standing on the top of the hilltop, and we will mock viciously, capriciously. We're tired of assault and the bigotry. You seem so full of wit and chivalry, but when we knock at your door, you'll break. We're done.
Hello. Welcome to Fumble Folks. Oh, Christ, Fumble Folks. My name is Sam. I am your Dungeon Master this evening for one of our long-form campaigns here. Rapid Riders. It's sounding at the moment like everything is working, but we're going to let all of our Rapid Riders introduce themselves.
Hi, Sam.
Starting with, as always, if they are ready, Bree.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Bree, and I play Diana. She's there. Yeah. She is she's a sun elf, bard of eloquence, / divination wizard. Yeah, with a sprinkling of witch. So yeah, on a quest to find her mother. Or more information on. Yeah. That's it.
Cool. Very cool. And we have returning, we have Ben.
Hello there. It's been a little while. I'm Ben. I play Zeke Boondiggles, the half-gnome, half-dwarf, half-monk, half-warlock. Currently resigned to a room, I'm guessing. Just being left to my own devices.
Uh-oh.
We can like if you just want to be there, I guess.
Oh no. This allows me to commit mass arson.
Wait, what?
All those books in that library.
Finish the books.
Wouldn't be a shame if something were to catch fire on them. Oh, whoops.
In that case, we're not leaving him there.
Yeah.
No way.
There's not a chance
You
Diana or
wouldn't
Taxes
know.
would leave.
You wouldn't know.
They would.
We have plans. We're okay.
We're okay. I'm just playing.
Okay.
Cool. We also have Doran.
Hello, I am Doran. I play Halbertary, some people's favorite human to hate. I am the Echo Knight fighter. I'm also a blood hunter of unknown origin. I am rich. I am somewhat famous. Why am I here? In this zombie school.
Zombie school.
It's a zombie school!
Oh my god, it's a zombie school.
It's more people that dead alive than alive here, so.
It's an alive.
School. Yeah.
That's fair.
We're gonna find a lich today, maybe. Oh,
I'm
God,
so
we're
excited.
gonna die.
He's my hero.
Seb, help me out as always.
In danger.
Come on, man. Don't let me down.
So hi, I'm Seb. I play Taxes. Once the only human of the group. Now is once was no, it's gone. It's gone.
Wow.
I'm
Oh.
tired.
Is this the first time you've
First
ever
time?
played that?
God.
Is this the first time?
You were once the
Okay,
only human in the
okay.
You
group,
were
though.
good.
It's true.
You were the only person who was okay for today.
You're the chosen one, human.
Chosen
Balanced
Right.
force, not
So, refresh, right. Was once the only human of the group, was once the only rogue of the group, but now is the rogue's last way described monk of the group. Bada bing, bada boom. We did it.
Still a human.
Still a human.
There's just another
Yay.
one now.
There's just another one now.
Yeah. Right, I got my little
me.
tiny little fucking.
But yeah, we're going into a zombie school. That's all I know. I missed
We
missing the
are.
last episode.
Fair enough.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you did.
And last but not least, we have Phil.
Hello, I'm a Phil, and I'm playing Dunson Dewey Fairfoot. He is a little ranger boy. He's part dew elf, he's part halfling. He's not all ranger. He's mostly ranger, but with a little bit of thief because scout for sprinkling of flavour and also extra shenanigans. And he's a little wholesome boy who is a swarm keeper. Has lots of usually burbs around to help him, like his, as you can tell from my themes. Around. Also, check out this necklace. Look, he's so cute. He's so cute. I don't know how well that's turning up because I'm
into a
above
necklace.
my webcam. But look at it. It's a big fat
It's
pigeon.
such a fat pigeon. I love it.
Anyway,
Who named that pigeon too?
yeah. So yeah, that's Dewey. And that's us.
Awesome. Well, our party, the Rapid Riders, came into this area, the ruins of the towers, formerly the Towers of the Winding Paths, the main institute of magical learning in Colovia before it became the Colovian Empire. They have learned that, much as they knew there was a massacre here long ago, and the ruins left behind hold no such place of learning, instead a place of death is what is left here. But much of that magical knowledge, although much of it was attempted to be purged from the area by the invading Colovians, they did not succeed in getting everything. Certainly a library full of knowledge, which they have spent the last couple of episodes devouring in as much detail as they can before deciding, while there may be more to learn here, they need to advance, because whilst they could spend forever in these halls learning, there is a rebellion going on, there is a war on, and they need to find things to help them. Specifically, perhaps a powerful wizard in the form of Diana's mother, who is missing.
Mother.
They exited and found that the students around, through learning and experimentation, are Hudatrudge, are a unique kind of undead dedicated to trying to consume magic when no other source of sustenance is available, and thus are attuned to detecting and absorbing magic. They, through their experiments, learned that magical effects, including those on magical weapons and magical items, are detectable from a further range than mundane objects and people, and so have volunteered to leave the vast majority of their magic items behind them in this library space here. However, because Ben was not here, Zeke, having formed their warlock pact with the chain of abandoned indent rings, or drowned indent rings is probably the better description, around their neck, they have, at least for now, volunteered to stay behind until they figure out what they're going to do. Either catch a party up later or stay here for now. Zeke, you have cast a cantrip to draw all of the students to your side as your party sprint in the other direction under the cover of as much shadow as Dewey's spell can muster, as they pick their way towards the distant Tower of Learning. You are alone, but as ever, or at least for the last few months, you're not truly alone. What do you do?
Shit.
Okay, you find a spot, fairly, there's no toilets, so it's more...
There's no toilets in the library.
What do you mean there's no toilets in the library? There's gotta be toilets in the library.
The first time I've had separation from anybody in months.
It's be wonderful.
It's good for you, yeah.
Literally everyone else has had an opportunity to be alone and truly alone. Yeah, gonna, I guess, proceed to try and pull these random students away. Every so often, just Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
Eldritch Blast.
As you fire these blasts in, the pulse sent out by the casting of the spell, even a cantrip, seems to draw their attention more fervently towards you. But the border of this hallowed ground, they seem not to be able to force themselves, even under this desire and ravening hunger for the magic that you are putting out, aren't able to force themselves beyond this boundary. You damage some, sending in this Eldritch Blast. Occasionally, as you do so, you see them retreat. Intelligent, still enough, it seems, to retreat when they are injured, rather than just constantly sustain your blasts forever.
Mm-hmm.
But not much changes.
Specifically not trying to kill any of them.
Yeah, and even damaging them, you see they... Actually, no, you've just wait, are you damaging them?
No.
Okay.
You said I was, so I was just saying that.
No, sorry. That is important. So you're firing just into the air above them.
Yeah, just
important.
Basically like fireworks.
Yeah, cool. When you said firing off Eldritch Blast, I got confused. That's my mistake. You're just firing them off like fireworks as they, every time, this ravening hunger, trying to get closer towards you, but unable to pass the boundaries of the Hallow. Quiet. I will say you've tried to take off your chain briefly in the previous episode and found that they were unhappy, is how we left it.
Yeah, so Zeke would have known that anyway, because one of the things that he had promised to do is that he wasn't taking it off until he resolved all of their issues way back in episode 3. So it would have been immediate, the thought process, and then immediate just drop and just hold it there. Is Scar with me?
Yeah, unless it's sent off with the rest of them, Scar would be with you, as ever.
Gonna turn and look at him and just go, "You technically magic?"
In a way.
Go test it.
You can turn invisible, right?
Can.
Want to turn invisible and fly around just outside of their reach, leading them on a nice old merry chase.
Stretches their long crow-like wings, flaps, and as the flaps come back away, their body is invisible until it extends to the length of their wings. You are vaguely aware of where Scar is, but made more aware when some of these creatures begin to turn their heads towards an invisible space behind them and begin sort of chasing in a little do-si-do until Scar is clearly too fast for them, and they return to the almost immediate meal ticket. Until eventually you feel invisible talons slowly dig into your shoulders.
How slowly can you fly without falling out of the sky?
What are you planning?
To get you to mop up as many as you can and lead them somewhere else.
It might work.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, DM, but I believe there's a not trademarked Wizarding Sport arena somewhere.
There is, specifically not that sport, because that sport was intentionally written to be a bad sport. It's quite far away, and it's like the other side of the Tower of Learning, the Halls of Learning, but it is visible in the far distance.
Think you could lead them all over there? Fly slowly, invisible.
Maybe some.
Hmm.
They seem hungry for the casting of spells.
Yeah. Do you think you can stay safe?
Do you command?
It's not what I asked. Do you think you can stay safe?
Yes.
Then stay safe and protect our friends.
The talons invisibly come away from your shoulders. You watch after maybe a second as a couple, 2, 4, maybe even 6 of these things piling over each other, very slowly making their way away. There's maybe still 30 of these things in front of you.
Mm-hmm. I know roughly the direction that they all went, or do I know that they've definitely gone inside at this point?
You know exactly where they went, and you can see, it's far away, but you can see the entrance that you would take and how they would get up there. Maybe once you're inside the building, the exact left-right stairs to take, that's more Diana's own memory of these halls that make it easy for her to navigate. But you think you could get there. But it would be easier for everything to see you.
I think I am gonna stay here, try to keep an eye on the entrances to that building that I can see, and try and fire off Eldritch Blasts relatively near anything that tries to go near the building.
So you taking it off?
No.
You're staying at the library then. Okay.
Yeah, because that's the thing that we decided, wasn't it?
No, I know, but it's the very first thing that he's promised after trying to turn his life around. He's not gonna break that promise. He's not gonna take it off.
Just be like, I'll be back in a minute.
Nope.
Alright, okay.
Yep. We will cut back then as you keep a significant portion of these things distracted over here. Keep firing off Eldritch Blasts. You know it doesn't extend maybe to beyond 100 feet, the sort of lure that is sent out by cantrips. But it is drawing some of them here. And certainly the noise of the impact of a blast, slowly you're gaining more. Occasionally you will see, in the far distance you can see more than those 6 are joining the hunt for the invisible scar that is a better word than just luring these undead to this sports ground coliseum place in the distance. And as you maintain your vigil here, we will cut back across to the halls of learning in the divination wing, as our party are confronted by a long corridor with doors. I should say doors, they're more like open doorways on the left.
Arch.
Yes. What semblance of doors were here kicked in, destroyed long ago in the hunt for things to magic to destroy, knowledge to undo in a massacre long ago. You've seen a lot has survived here, and perhaps there will be more here can remain. What do you wish to do? Currently, there's no reaction from the only one of these Buddha Drudge you can see is 100 foot away from you. Seems to just be slowly looking around their environment. Again, looking in a sense. The heads seem entirely vestigial, shrunken, almost like fetish voodoo heads atop of them.
Can you imagine 100 fucking foot hallway? My God.
The opulence of these wizards.
Shut up.
Lots of students coming back and forth. Big lectures.
Your school's bigger than that.
Is there an element of distortion to the amount of space this takes up, like in this wing, or is it consistent with how the thing's built?
This is more like there are floors, and this is the top floor, if that makes sense. This is the only place. This is your DM can only model so many floors of each of these buildings here, and this is the floor that has the interesting things on it. And that Diana would know specifically has her mother's office on it. At the very far end on the right, marked with a little red marks there through that archway.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey.
Your call, Miss Diana.
Hmm?
It's your call.
Are we actually talking?
Say might be.
Do you whispers you think you're okay?
Yeah, whisper. Okay.
I did whisper because of the microphone, but
Yeah. Stage whispers are assumed by me.
Are assumed, yeah. Even if
Okay.
Okay, that's my whisper. I don't know. We don't have any magic items. I guess we could just go.
They're blind sight, so as long as we don't make noise, we should be fine.
Exactly.
how it works. That's Tremescence. I don't know that. Do I know that? I roll something to know that.
I thought it was blind sight. I thought it was.
You remember from the book that you read, the alterations upon undeath, that it was referred to as a blind sight rather than Tremescence.
Do we try and lead them away, like down one of these corridors?
No. Just don't.
But we don't know if there's any more in these doorways.
That's why we shouldn't make any noise.
I'm just gonna walk, but like really slow. Like.
Yeah, you move at a stealth pace. Just make a stealth check for me. You have advantage because they are effectively blinded where you are.
Cool. Yeah, let's use real dice. In the box.
In the box.
Fantastic. And I have a thing for this. Okay, before you say everyone dies, it's a 2.
Everyone dies.
Wait, it's at 9.
On advantage?
Oh, advantage! Oh. That's a 17.
17. Okay.
I thought. Why you think when you laughed?
Wait,
I was like,
that's a sorry, 14. I can't do
14.
I should just roll
Okay.
immediately. I was gonna be like,
you...
if it's really bad, I'm like, I'll take my shoes off.
The walls of the image that you're seeing are probably a better reflection of the general condition of this place. Rubble and broken bits of stone litter the ground as well. You are picking a path through what looks like the most settled of the dust, but occasionally you hear an old porous piece of stone crunch under your foot. It's not loud, but certainly there is some noise to your movement. If you want to move your token, hopefully you have control.
So what I'm doing is just essentially moving this way, and I'm gonna begin.
As you peek in there, you take in a room. I'll describe this for the stream as well, for people who might be listening in.
I will.
No.
Is it
I
dark
need to
in
turn on
here, by the
clear
way?
movement. It is pitch. Well, it's not pitch. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be pitch black. Actually, yeah, it is pitch black.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Cool.
I'm just trying to think of any reason why it wouldn't be. No, yeah, it's kind of,
In that
nobody's
case,
going to lit anything.
Taxes, Dewey, literally all of you.
Yeah.
Can't see
Fuck.
shit.
And Dagwin. It's like I
Yeah,
think
like literally all of you.
Yeah.
Except for Garrick. This is fantastic. I mean, we know blind sight.
You know they're blind
They
sight
can't see
to
the-
beyond,
they can't
and
see
don't seem to be able to see anything
fire.
beyond that time. So one of you could light a torch, and you are confident they would need to be within 30 feet of a non-magical torch or a non-magical sort of light to be able to see it.
Okay. Then you could put a torch on.
You have to light it in a non-magical way. Absolutely.
I don't think I possess.
I cast
that skill
fireball.
Anyway. Exactly.
I do have a lantern. It's a hooded lantern, so I could
You
light
think
that.
that's going to be good because, of course, if you
I can
shed
cover
light
it.
out
Yeah.
all the way to them,
Yeah.
within 30 feet of them, they might be able to see light suddenly of this area is brighter for some reason, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say the hooded lantern allows you to control that without us having to be really specific about the angles you're taking and things like that.
Okay. I'll light.
You're able to, essentially you have a torch light that you are just shining around.
It's one of those I can cover, so I can.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like
I
light
was
inside,
thinking-
but I can cover it and then open it up again.
Yeah.
Oh
you
yeah,
can
you're good.
essentially
So
use
I-
it as a torch in a specific direction, which allows you to see the one at the very far end, but it does not see you. Diana, as you pressed around that archway, you see that this is a interior looks roughly 45 foot by 45 foot of a large empty square room, except there are two Houdedrudge in the corners, which just seem to be standing and looking directly into the corners of the room, unmoving. And in the center is a roughly 15-foot diameter pool of near still water, except for the occasional bobbing of one of these vestigial heads just barely coming up and out of it. You can see there is another Houdedrudge that has immersed itself in that water.
Are they having a good time or are they just stuck?
They make an
really
insight
important.
check.
It's
Make an
really
insight check on this undead.
You know what? I'm gonna switch dice because it's another 2.
Are they wearing a bathrobe?
It's
Maybe
difficult.
they're having a bath. Maybe
It's
they were having a
difficult to
bath
tell.
like 50 years ago and then they've just continued.
I'm
Like a
dead fresh this
4.
week.
It's like a 4 or something.
Or really difficult to tell what they're doing there. If it's intentional, if it's literally just they're stuck in there like a spider in a bathtub.
Precious week.
It is my freshest week. In that case, I will look back at everybody else and be like, shush, there's 3. In there. 1, I don't know how to sign taking a bath.
Fair enough. You know that one is, I'm not trying to move there in D&D Beyond. That one, if you were judging it, is it's maybe 30 foot from the archway.
Okay, I'll say like
Yeah, you sort of signal to stay in the middle, otherwise that one would good looking out.
I feel actually that maybe Garrick should either be with me or go in front because he's a stealthy boy.
Yeah, do you signal Garrick up?
Yeah.
Okay. Garrick's going to make a stealth check. I'm just going to roll on D&D Beyond. I'm just going to roll 2d20s. Good thing he has advantage.
Oh boy, that is really
Good thing he has advantage because they cannot see him. He has nothing magical on him. So Garrick gets a 26 on stealth.
It's got a plus.
Plus 13. He's an expert stealthy person. So he moves up to you and sees what you're seeing, and thieves can't accounts the same thing to those who know how to speak it.
Okay, so he should go first.
Okay. Garrick is going to, seeing that this thing was so close to the archway, Garrick is going to take a bit of a berth from there and then stick to this wall, and is going to go there. In Thieves' Cant, back to EU, because I believe Diana speaks Thieves' Cant.
Yeah.
Again, the cant's free. Classroom. They can make a perception check for the last bit of information. I'm just going to get some dice out and roll. We've done D&D after all. He's not the wisest.
D&D's not scary.
Boy.
Can be.
He says it looks like scrolls, books.
Scrolls? Question mark.
These can't. I think so. None of them near the door. Beckoning to come up and join you.
Poop. Yeah, I'll what?
Cool. As you do so, you see this very structured looking, it looks like a lecture hall, with organized pews or benches for seating. The lectern near the end where someone might stand and lecture from, and behind them a series of scrolls in rolled up scroll cases, and quite shattered looking bookcases with some, if damaged, intact books. If damaged, at least functional. They're not intact, is the best description for what you're seeing in there. But also free of the former students. These two just staring at the wall. This one seems to be just running their hands along the bookcase in a...
That's fair.
Yeah, a strange sort of melodic fashion.
These things are messed up. I don't like them. I'm gonna stealth sort of along to there.
Yeah, make a stealth check. We're going to ask for one, essentially in the hallway. Entering rooms might trigger a new stealth check.
Fucking hell. I glide. I got a natural 20.
Natural 20. You hang low, focusing not on the shadows, knowing you only have to be quiet. You pick a path which Garrick has already trodden, knowing certainly that is going to be as quiet as they were and are unheard. Exactly.
With that, am I able to, because there's like bits of rubble and stone and stuff
Absolutely.
like that,
Yeah,
am
yeah.
I able to like pick up a couple of bits that if I were to chuck them, they would make a sizable
Yeah,
and just
completely.
kind of
What are
like
you doing?
pocket
Oh, okay. No, not
pocket
actually
them. I'm not going to do it.
Sweat
but,
screams.
If I need to, just have some things I can chuck to try and cause a distraction.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna stay back behind everyone because I've got the light just to make sure.
Stay behind everyone
Everyone.
because I know they're all idiots.
I have the light, so everyone in front of me can see.
As you are doing that, you're watching the one in the hallway. It seems to just be pacing a slow circle, essentially. Never once reaching the walls, so much as just walking a small clockwise circle. I mean slow, like a step every 5 seconds or so.
Can I like just look at Garrick, and now Dewey is here, and I'm just like, this books.
Yeah. Garrick will continue on in the Fuse Cant, which in our world has roots in sign language. So potentially something to be learned there. Risky.
And I just moving ever so
Okay.
slowly.
You move that, keeping good 30 foot. You think it's if you just hug the doorway on the right, you could sneak into the room without reaching 30 foot of this one that is just staring at a wall.
Yeah, but then the rest.
Then there are the rest.
You should give these guys an aura of 30 foot. Anyways.
It would make things easier for you, wouldn't it?
Oh, you don't have to.
With that, I think Dorian is pacing me. I think what was Halibut like to do?
When we came, there's a door right behind us where we just came into this
A little bit of a
spot.
hall into this open doorway.
What was
you.
behind us?
Stairwells and stairways that led you up here.
But nothing really of note or anything like that.
You saw other hallways leading off, but Diana was adamant that this was the way to the office. You are confident that from within these walls you can access the other wings if you were to follow those hallways. You would see the occasional student in the distance, but lucky enough not to encounter one on the stairs.
Halibut straightens himself out. I'll be right back. And he leaves up the hallway.
Okay, Halibut leaves.
I do want to do something. If Diana's not doing anything right now immediately.
Dagwen turns around and says, "Am I following you?" I assume I'm following you.
I mean, it should be fine, but you can.
What do you mean it should be fine? And Dagwen follows you.
Oh, look at you two, but doing this.
I wish to summon Harry, but their magical presence might alert the ones around us currently.
Yeah.
In the hallway on the way up, I didn't really notice any of them. So I can try and stop them from observing this area if things do come to worse.
Oh, okay. Cool, as long as you don't make him come down this corridor.
That's why I'm going down here.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't the plan.
No.
If I'm naked, everybody's naked. Damn it.
What?
I'm
Stop
naked
bringing your
without my
fantasies
book.
into this fantasy RPG.
Yeah, that's exactly what Halibut will do. Move a good distance away from the group.
Yeah, you move more towards the front of the corridor. Make a stealth check, please, and Dagwen is going to do the same. Has advantage, which cancels out with their disadvantage for their heavy armor.
I have new Halibut dice. Look how pretty. No, please focus. Thank you. It's
Definitely.
snow in it.
Ooh, it's very nice. Dagwen definitely makes some noise.
What happens to everything else?
The ones that you're looking at don't seem to be disturbed.
I got 13. Unlucky for some. Maybe me.
We heard that as well, right? That would have.
You all heard you hear the soft noise of clinking of the armor as Dagwen picks a path.
Chimes.
Going as slowly as they can, but catching up with Halibut.
But yeah, Dewey sees Diana wants to go in.
If there's a way to thieves' cant, you've looked at enough books. Let's go.
But these are learning books.
All books are learning books.
Spell books.
And I sign, what do we do about that? And I'll point to the one further down the corridor.
I'll gesture to the stones that you've picked up and like throw it. Are they interested in us if we're not casting any magic and stuff?
They seem to be.
Yeah, well, they
As in if we
were
get within
alerted.
30 feet.
Yeah.
If you got within 30 foot and they were aware you were there, you think they would be interested in these stones?
Make sure everybody's here, so like taxes.
Yeah, I'll move up.
Okay. Stealth check for taxes, please, to rejoin. I know, but it's still going to be us. Advantage.
Soft 20.
You're not soft 20.
Here we go, nice.
Unheard. Unseen.
And then be like, look around and be like, where's Halibut and Dagwin?
They again, if these camp, they've gone to Southern Perry in a different part to vacate him. Yes, I know. Not in the mood to argue.
Time or place.
Mm.
Okay. Okay, if we walk up and you throw like down the corridor, and they'll go that way, and we'll find out if these guys behind can hear that.
So where are you from? And you from here, or are you moving up somewhere?
Yeah,
we're gonna, move up to like there, wherever is safe.
Yeah.
Based on the ping, I'm going to move your token to there then, if that's okay.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
That's a pair of you, if I'm correct. Garrick will flank.
Is it just part of the map, or are there a series of skellies?
There are skeletons in this area. They look long dead. 50 years or so, maybe.
50 years or so,
Give or
yeah.
take a couple of minutes.
All right.
But that's a weird thing. You see one of them, it's like 55 years.
55? They just never cleaned this up.
Wow.
Do I have any idea of how far I can yeet a stone?
Prone objects tend to be a maximum range of 60 foot.
So
I would ask for an
accurate, 60 not accurate.
60 not accurate. If you're trying to push yourself, I would ask for an athletics check to try and hit a further point. Otherwise, it would land. And 60 foot, we might not think is very far in D&D terms. 60 foot is a fair old distance.
Yeah. All right, then. Let's swing bada. I'm going to try and throw it as far as I can.
I don't think I could throw it.
Oh, you possibly can down the corridor?
Yes.
Over his
yeah.
head and all the way down as far as
Yeah,
you
Make
can.
an athletics check. We'll see what you roll.
Why don't you just shoot an arrow?
Do you have a bow?
You have a bow. You have Dagwin's bow. You have Dagwin's longbow.
Dagwin's longbow. You do.
Fuck it, yeah, all right. I'll do that instead. Then.
A short range of a longbow is less than 100 feet, if I'm not wrong.
Stick it in the wall.
My god, it will make a louder noise because it will fucking at the speed it's going.
There's a bit of a twang to the bowstring.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like, is it gonna make a lot of noise? Because we don't want these guys back
it
here.
would be a thwack, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
That's for none of these are loud options, but louder than a
Yeah.
Certainly, throwing a rock makes a noise, but landing a rock makes less of a noise
Yeah.
than a
Yeah,
high-impact
I would-
longbow shot.
It's
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
be.
I would
Yeah, it's
say
gonna have to be the rock. I think.
throw a
Yeah,
rock,
the
yeah,
bow.
yeah.
The bow itself would make as much noise as it hitting the far wall. The arrow hitting
Yeah.
the far wall. So
Good.
from +8 to +3.
Gary's going to get this side just in case something comes running out of here.
17.
17. You throw as far as you can at 60 foot.
Not bad. For
The rock makes
dump
impact
stat
around
strength.
here. And you watch as these two, with the as it lands amongst the rubble, with like a little bit of a ping, the whipping of it to your head, you see like a what's the word? Ponytail on the one here, sort of whips around on the small dead head atop this thing, as they begin to crawl slowly towards the noise, and this one here is also there, and beginning to like lift rocks and investigate the noise.
Okay. All right.
Diana, from your position there, you can see. Let me try and get the line of sight right. D&D Beyond, help me, please. Don't be a dick. Not gonna be a dick. Okay, hold on.
Don't be a dick.
Where's my reveal areas? Polygon reveal. From that line of sight, you can see another classroom-looking structure in this room to the left, in which you can already see one of these hooded drush, and there seems to be like sat in one of these benches, looking straight down between their legs, and another one that seems to be very similar, just in front of it, although you can just see the back of their right shoulder. You're going to have to hug this wall.
Yeah, I will gesture to like
Gesture, and
gesture.
Garrick will hug the wall with you as you move further and further in, able to see once again a very similar looking room. Maybe the only difference is one of those bookcases seems to have some kind of replacement, like a multicolored kind of mechanism. D&D Beyond would like to help me. There we are. In that bottom left corner there. But there are 4 of these hooded drones in here. This one seems to be moving around a little bit. This one seems to have both their hands gripped into the pew in front of them with a tight grip, but it's not moving. It's just this one that seems to be making any kind of movement in the space.
Is there anything
If it comes
different about that one?
Make a perception check.
15.
15. This obviously is different. The mechanism here in the corner here. The lectern looks a little bit more prestigious. You see more scrolling, even in its ruined form, like a scrolling inscription upon it. You imagine this might have been a slightly more higher learning, maybe for more advanced students in this room here, as opposed to the one you just passed.
Okay.
I think on a 15 as well, you notice that there are 12 points to this mechanism here, and you make the fairly easy deduction that it is some kind of clock.
Oh,
You
that's like
definitely see this one making a pattern to patrol the room.
Uh-oh.
Why is that one patrolling the room and the others are not? Like, is there something different about that thing?
Make an insight check, I guess.
It's not a 1. 9.
Don't know. You do know if you don't move a little bit more forward or backwards, it's going to
Yeah.
be roughly within 30 foot of you in about 5 seconds.
Could I
Just
just
moving.
gesture for them
Right.
to go back?
You gesture for them to go back. You take a step forward as you all sort of see this one just sort of take steps. Again, this sort of... Oh, sorry. What's the wobbling noise? Like... As it's just generally open neck wobbling as it passes.
As it passes the door, could I do an insight? Because at the angle, I'll be able just about to see it.
Yeah.
Also, are they like wearing the clothes that they died in?
Perhaps of them.
Does it look more like a lecturer's or a magi?
Make an investigation check.
Oh, I got a 25 for insight. Oh.
25. You think maybe it's been disturbed more recently, whereas the others maybe not. What could have disturbed it in this place? Noise, the sound of a thunder crackling ahead. The same way you might not hear it, like perception check, rolling wise kind of thing. Whether it's disturbed weeks ago and is still patrolling, whereas the others have just been left in this catatonic state. Certainly you think any of them would awake on a 25 if they heard noise, but this one seems a bit more restless, because perhaps it was disturbed more recently.
I got
What's your
natural 20 for 25.
You piece together this one is a magi, perhaps a bit more perceptive in that way, and maybe that's why it was disturbed, because it seems to notice more. It's also possible, and I think for two of you sort of piecing this together with Fitzchum, but these three seem to be in the position of students, whereas this one was a Melector and is almost pacing. If you had to, I think with your 25 and your 20, even more disturbing than a facsimile of a lecture, this looks like a facsimile of an exam, like an ongoing exam. Like they are eternally trapped in where he is pacing and making sure no cheating is happening. And whether that is their last memory or the most burning memory in their minds before they passed, seems to have carried on to their own death. But you take the opportunity while this one is continuing to pace, looking for cheaters. And these ones are distracted by the rock. You know that that one is still just in the entranceway to your mother's office, or just close enough to notice you. But a throw of another rock at 60 foot.
Not me.
Okay.
I'm gonna knock one in the face if I throw it.
Do we make an athletics check? You're just trying to avoid a big failure here. 12. They definitely... you aim for like the far end. You don't quite make it. It skids to a halt, and the noise is more middle here. I'll make it the red mark. I'll make it the yellow marker. And they definitely now, something's up. They both sort of skitter over fairly animatedly and are sort of looking at, like, pulling up rocks. They're going to make some investigation checks.
Oh, God.
Bad. They seem focused on, the noise was here. The noise was here. It couldn't have come from somewhere else to make this noise here. And they seem very distracted. Certainly very distracted here.
I'd be like,
Okay, let's take a look.
or could we peek in?
Cool. Are you peeking in from there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. You peek in from there, Diana. You see a large room, oddly shaped, almost like a straight corridor in the same width from when you passed, except for large alcoves that are almost as large as the room, housing a big, what looks like a hourglass in insane brass orbital structure, and on the right, a huge, technically large in D&D terms, crystal orb And at the far end of the room, a desk with multiple scrolls behind it and a chair. This is your mother's office, you know it. There's a big rug in the middle of the room as well. What you also see are three of these hoodadrush, one of which,
Fuck out of my office.
your head tips back a little bit. Can you make another stealth check for me, please?
Yeah, as soon as I like peek my head around and I'm
Yeah,
like,
you peek your head around, and you peek your head around just in time to see the eyes of this closed eyes of this thing tip back as the true face of this thing is looking towards you. Make a stealth check, please.
Oh, that's a massive 10.
You hear a little bit more of a warbling, more animated warbling, I should say, as this thing begins to pace towards you and the door.
I've done my thing now.
Your thing was, I believe, was you were looking for things approaching, weren't you?
No, I was summoning Perry.
Oh, you summoned Perry. Okay.
Yeah, but I went a little further away, not to.
Little further away.
Anyone.
Yeah, a little further away. You summoned Perry. Yes.
Perry, would it be too much of a bother to have you stop monitoring the divination sector for 8 hours?
8 hours? Of course.
The entire sector.
You are a guest. It is a little extensive. Make a persuasion check.
He's a little suspicious.
Do I have advantage for good behavior, Smile?
No.
Okay. Let's make a persuasion.
You earn your advantage.
That is a natural 20 for a 24.
Natural. Okay.
Thank you.
The divination wing now be not observed for the next 8 hours. Goodbye.
Much, Perry.
And they are gone.
Alright, Douglas, let's try not to get back without being eaten.
You make your way back.
I really think about stuffing it on.
Yeah, this thing's still creeping towards the door. We have.
It's already taking Diana.
Oh,
God.
no, it's gone.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to pause slightly in a moment here. So, Zeke.
Zeke is catching flies.
Zeke is catching flies. Probably about this point, you begin to hear a flapping, although you cannot see it. As again, maybe 5 or 6 of them begin chasing an invisible bird as they're slowly being carted away. That's okay.
I needed to be so bad.
That's okay. As more of them are being carted away to the sports grounds away from you. Still maybe a good 20. Well, no, it's more 30 still around here, to be honest. Some of them are losing interest, especially when you step far enough back that they can't detect your chain. But this is the last point. Anything was happening on this island for the last who knows how long.
The people who are around me,
Mm-hmm.
do they all have relatively similar garb on now that we have started to distinguish that there are some lecturers who are still here teaching?
Yeah. Make a perception or investigation check.
Oh, a natural 20.
There you are. There is
for a flat 20.
vast majority here are students. You do see they seem to be wearing generally sort of grey, or imagine they might have been white and black robes at some point, or grey and black robes. Some of them seem to have a slight flare of colour, but nothing extensive, compared to ones that you see, that's different, where you see, although dirtied beyond belief, the scraps of colour that are just the whole robe, if that makes sense. Yeah, you don't know what colour corresponds to what, but certainly the majority of them are, there's this sort of colourless garb compared to a block coloured, which you imagine this place seems to be a lot about status, especially students, magi, staff.
That's specifically what I'm trying to look for. Is there anything that has any kind of crest on it?
You see this crest of the towers that's been mentioned, where it's almost like paths rising into the sky, but end in like multiple it's almost like solid lines near the bottom, and then it becomes roots near the top. Almost like a bit of a weird way to think of it's like what are they called? Baobab trees, where it looks like they have roots at the top rather than the bottom. Almost like a forest of them, where it starts as linear towers and then ends as multiple roots, or intertwining paths is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Very, very poor repair, all of them.
Can I take... I don't know whether I have any on me. What am I asking? Are there any scraps of paper that are lying around the library that aren't
Yes.
being used for anything? I was like, do I
There's-
have it? It's a fucking library.
You see an arcane tray marked with "ye spare paper of all."
I'm gonna grab as much of the cheap stuff as I can, as well as much of the expensive stuff as I can to hand over to Diane at some point later.
Less expensive stuff, more
Feedback
cheap
for
stuff
that.
in the library. But yes.
Okay, now just the cheap stuff then.
Cool.
And I am going to do something that Zeke hasn't done for a very, very long time. Zeke is going to paint.
Okay.
Aww.
He is going to try and paint the crest specifically.
Ooh.
Just as a note, in the painter's kit that Halite gave you, there is no red left. There's no red.
Mm-hmm.
There's
I'm
no
aware.
Get a moment on a mountaintop.
I'm aware. Thinking of his friend, who's gonna paint.
Make I'm going to say a performance check, and you can choose charisma or dexterity as your base stat. Your skill with a brush versus your ability to express yourself, both equally important in this craft.
Its dexterity puts it to a 14. Charisma puts it to a 13. So
it's certainly the crest focusing on a less horrific portion of this. Trying to pick out individual forms in this writhing mass, this horde in front of you. None of them are staying still, which is very rude. You make a serviceable painting of what is before you. Over both of your shoulders as you are doing this, you see, or you feel two spectral orcs constructively critiquing your work, encouraging you to work on shadowing here, the effect of light, much as it is in this place. Focusing on not the details that a wizard might, or a researcher might, more of the things that evoke emotion. Talons and fangs, these strange heads, not needing the detail, just knowing what they are and what that means in this moment. You create a serviceable painting. Certainly, somebody would recognize it as what it is. Takes you some time. The orcs seem to look at each other for a moment. Zeke, you have carried us a long way from where we were. This is art. We are looking. Creation. Something is close. Something truly. Everyone just says, something truly beyond our words. Something where we can create. No one else can. It's close, we feel it. We don't know what it is. It's near. And then they are. Cool. Snap back to the divination wing.
Can I say also that Zeke, while you're in the library, there's quite obviously, like, on one of the tables, there's a piece of the scrap paper that you found with Diana's dagger. You can tell it's Diana's dagger. Just junk into the table. Just so you know.
Cool.
With writing on it.
Yeah. You remember Diana came in here to do something previously and choose not to invade their privacy. Cool. Diana, this Huda Drudge is walking slowly, menacingly towards you.
I'm having fun, so. Yeah.
It seems to be.
Glump.
You seem to. Yeah, you glump.
Walking.
Dewey, you can see this thing as well as it is slowly walking towards.
That might involve Dewey and the danger as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You both maybe have an action, a round to act before this thing is really upon you.
Can I do what like Dewey did? Because
Dewey runs away.
Oh, I. Fuck. Anyway, in my.
Look, and that's just a cloud where Dewey once was.
Yeah, I look over and he's gone. I'm like fuck, and I pick up a rock and I try.
Throw it. You can try to throw it over its head.
Yeah, through the doorway.
The distance is not difficult to get 60 foot to make it accurate. I'm going to ask for a deception check.
A deception check?
Yes.
What am I deceiving?
This thing into believing that that is more important than the elf it just saw.
I mean, okay. Oh my god, do I roll? Should I roll digitally? I feel like I should roll digitally.
I think you've had better luck with digital dice.
Nice.
Have physical dice.
Yeah,
Don't
21.
21.
What did I roll? A 10. Wow.
This thing is going to make an active
Bare
insight
minimum.
check since it is where
Bare
you are. You watch as this thing is like approaching, like very much like, did I just see that kind of thing?
I'm out of
And then you leave its perceptible range. A loud noise clatters behind it. You watch as the whole body whips around, as do the bodies of the other two in here, as they all begin making their way to this sort of central point in the rug here, where the rock landed, and seem to be like pulling and tearing at the rug a little bit, as to like, is there something underneath here? What's going on? A good 40 foot from the doorway.
Okay.
Now this is an issue.
Okay. Seeing Diana go in, I'm going to go to here, keep an eye out, and if it moves close, then back up and work out plans later. But
Yeah, this is an issue.
yeah.
I do maybe the same thing again, more sort of not chucking it. I'm sort of, how do I explain it? Sort of like, I'm not chucking it over, I'm chucking it sort of across, so it kind of sounds as if maybe someone's like walking away from them. Does that make any sense?
The intention is there. I guess, make it an athletics check, because the distance isn't difficult, it's the skipping it.
Yeah. Athletics. Yeah.
So there's no door on Diana's mum's office, correct?
Your
There's
best
no...
stat.
What door was once there has been kicked in and destroyed long ago. 9. Where were you aiming it?
I wanted it to go sort of. I mean, I'm there, so I wanted it to go like in that, maybe in that that direction. Yeah.
Okay. On a 9, a 9 is not a nat 1. By any means. You don't create the skipping effect, but you do hit rocks there, as all of them look up and begin to much more animatedly move over there. Some of them begin like climbing the wall, moving upside down, as they're sort of feeling at the wall there. This one sort of begins like climbing along the thin, like almost like a monkey paw over paw, clinging along the long brass ring of this insane hourglass-like structure. They are really interested in this now. They are going to make investigation checks to figure out if they are, if something different is going on, because they cannot see something that made the noise here beyond a rock.
I think would Garrick have followed as well all this way?
Yeah, Garrick will be behind you as you're coming around here.
Cool, and then...
There's just this huge, slightly glowing crystal orb in front of you as well.
I want it.
You want it?
Yeah.
Do you have a good look at it?
Oh, absolutely. I
I'm
can come
gonna-
down to here and then just fucking stare
Cool.
at it for as long as I can.
You watch as one on the... two things happen quite quickly. One, I'm going to message you what you see in the orb. The second thing is the one that is sort of monkey climbing on the brass stops paying attention to the rock and instead is crawls around, again, hand over fist, balancing on this like a beam. And the open neck mouth begins sort of like scanning the room a bit more as it's going to make an active perception check because it's realizing something's not quite right here.
Me and Dagwin arrived back in the hallway.
Yeah, you're down at the bottom of the hallway. About this point, I'll put you there. Others aren't moving so much. Our little essay writer is probably over here. Exam setter. These two still haven't succeeded. They still think there's a rock there. Cool. Not a rock there. They still think there's something interesting about that rock noise.
It's a rock. It's fine.
Bree.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to message you what you see in the orb.
Yay, sequence.
Can me and Dagwood move freely?
Yeah. You see that there is... I think you probably just see... Actually, with your dark vision, maybe you see Tax's light coming from the very end office there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any dark vision.
Oh, yeah.
I will say that Diana does not know that's what they're seeing so much as Bree. I want you to, as a player, that is what Diana sees in there. Garrick is going to follow closely.
Oh, I like that.
Perhaps it's going to say put it behind to keep as far away as possible from those.
Okay, can I try and sneak my way into the room then?
Is it that kind of thing, Sam?
If that's what Bree thinks Diana thinks, yeah.
Uh-huh.
If that's what Diana thinks that is, yes.
As I see Halibut come to the doorway, I'll sort of like point over in the direction of where they are and be like 3.
I'm going to ask you just for the huge length of the corridor, if Halibut and Dagwin could both make stealth checks, because that's a long distance now to recoup.
Sure.
Dagwin does really well this time, even as a straight roll. Seeing the path, picking it, pointing it out to you. Best as they
Super
can.
advantage. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 17.
17. Yeah, no issue. As the two of you get there. Garrick looks into the orb as well, and briefly looks at you, Diana, with like a very quizzical look, and then gestures that you keep going. Taxes and Dewey, you see that they're looking strangely at this orb, but if I'm correct in saying, I'll continue to push past it and not lingering.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna.
I'm asking Bree, I think, here more than is Diana lingering on this orb, or are they pushing past? I think Garrick sees it. Eyebrows definitely raised, but is trying to push on.
Yeah, I think so. Just kind of like, yeah, I think so. I wanna know what it is, but yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm carrying on.
Cool. I think you guys see that they look at it strangely, but keep going. Hugging the wall around. This one, I'm going to ask. I don't think I asked for. Who did I ask for stealth checks to enter the room? Did I ask that for anybody?
No.
Right, I guess
cool.
me or the hallway?
I'm gonna count you on for the hallway since it was so close. This one is actively perceiving now. Can everybody else make me a stealth check as you're now in close quarters with these things? You still have the advantage.
Oh, I didn't roll the advantage.
Because they cannot. Yeah, they are essentially blinded from this distance. Stealth check for Diana, Garrick, Dewey, and Taxes. I've rolled the perception check for them, so I know the total you have to hit. Garrick is silent as a whisper.
Yeah.
Whisper is not silent.
Silent as a non-feline whisper.
Wow. With an advantage, 12 and a 13.
You're not. There is still crunching beneath your feet, and you kick a slight shuffle of paper. You look at its face, or what would be its face. It's not drawn towards you, and you watch as it eventually rejoins, convinced, well, I must have missed something, as it rejoins the scrambling of the rocks over here.
27.
Dewey, Taxes, do either of you look at the orb as you pass?
I would, because if Diana's looking physical, I would have a quick glance to see what the fuck it is.
Yeah, both of them look like it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So I would glance as I walk past. Yeah.
Does Dewey look? Ah, come on, Philip.
I don't know whether he'd be more focused on the horrific nightmare creatures on the other side of the room, to be honest.
Yeah, but look at the massive glowing orb.
It's cool.
Ponder the orb. Ponder upon the orb.
Is it actually glowing as well?
Slightly.
Come on.
That ain't right. How come it isn't?
He's not a child.
He's a child. It's shiny.
This child had a.
If you push past, I mean, orb's not going anywhere from the looks of it. It's heavy as fuck. Is Halibut looking at the orb?
Oh, fuck you. Oh,
okay.
Fuck.
It's a fucking massive.
He's not even glancing at it. He's like, what is this?
Yeah, just actively like, hey.
What is this? Yeah.
Can I put my face in it?
I don't think he would touch it. I don't think he would
lick
touch
it.
Lick it.
Will he lick it? Does
Lick
it taste good? How dirty does it look?
Does it taste?
It looks dirty, dusty, old.
Oh yeah, he would not touch. He would not
Clean
lick
it
it.
first and then lick it.
Even as you're seeing what you're seeing, it's behind the dust, if that makes sense.
But yeah,
but you know what you see
from the last few months.
Or I should say, you don't know exactly what you're seeing, but as players, that is what your characters see. If you've received a message, you understand what I'm saying.
Does he touch it?
Temptation. No, not doing it.
Phil, come on, Dewey would look. He's like a.
Dewey would look.
Look at it. You can't look anywhere else.
Everyone kind of looked, but if you focus on the job, you move past, and I'm going to keep moving. Garrick is going to keep going. I just put a hand on.
Dewey would be focused on that. Those things are just over there. Like, he doesn't want to be distracted by stuff. He wants to know as soon as they start moving towards him or his mates.
Diana, you
I know, boring.
you're at your mother's desk. There are no papers here. They've probably been destroyed or something. But you see a drawer that has a lock on it that looks like it is still intact. It is a wide drawer, nearly the length of the desk, like a 5-foot wide drawer to this thing. There's also a chair here, which you imagine you might have to scoot the chair a little bit, just to fully open the drawer, but probably be okay.
Be one of those kids that just grabs the top of it and just drags it across.
Make a huge noise.
Yeah.
Shit.
Fucking Halbert's like, Tywin, what the fuck? Look at this.
I'm like looking around and I'm like, oh, there's a fucking lock. I don't
Look.
think
Garrick,
I have thieves' tools, so I'm like, just up and
Garrick Rogue comes around and just nods.
Is that his name badge?
Garrick the Rogue.
It says Garrick the Rogue, and then his movie.
Do you help Garrick in any way? Do you give Garrick a help action?
If you want, yeah. I don't know how to help someone who's doing thief.
You're pointing at the lock. I guess anything you can whisper about your mother.
Not that one is too big.
Yeah, you can just describe. You know the kind of like size of the key that your mother used, the number of like a vague recollection of the number of teeth on it and things like that. Enough that they know roughly how many tumblers they need to hit, how many they need to go in, and with that, you hear it's a very faint click in the silence of this room, and the drawer is open. They do not with a noise that small.
Open it.
You pull it open. You see various documents in here. You see some scrolls. You see some books. You see one that looks somewhere between a book and a pamphlet. That one is very clearly titled. That one says Nova Menta.
Yes.
You see one that looks more like a journal or musings. That is a sort of a more of a blank book that is clearly kept as a journal. But clearly not one so personal that they wouldn't just leave it in their office, if that makes sense. Else can we see in divination? Yeah, you see. Yeah, I think you see various other bits of research papers. I mean, you see 3 that are very clearly magical scrolls in there as well. Very easily recognizable 2 of them. You see the modify memory spell.
Yeah.
You see the spell simulacrum. And then the one in the middle is not a spell that you recognize. Seems to be titled Echo Memory.
I can give 3 guesses to what that one is. What? Ooh.
You know it's going to take you time to digest exactly what those spells are.
I don't need a
they
guess.
do.
I have one of these.
Yeah!
Yay!
And as you see all of these things here, taking in and standing over your mother's desk and research, I feel like it might be an appropriate moment for us to take a quick break, if people are agreeable, because we've been going for a little bit, and then rejoin our party, skirting around this orb in the office, Thalia Ersis, the diviner of the towers, as Free Huda Drudge in the corner are trying to figure out what's up with this rock. And I will come back to that later.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
That's a nice rock.
Back in a bit.
That's a good
Wanna
rock.
see what's going on with this rock?
That's a good rock.
It's a good rock.
Okay, bye guys. See you in a minute.
Stop the revolution, we're done.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Rapid Riders here on the Fumble, folks. Our party are in the divination wing of the Halls of Learning in the Towers of the Winding Paths, where they are specifically in the office of Thalia Ersis, Diana's mother, and have opened a lock on their desk in order to rifle through many things that are in there, including some spell scrolls, some magical-looking paper, what looks like musings in a journal of some kind, or maybe an academic journal of some kind, and a pamphlet book thing, clearly entitled Nova Menta. There are 3 undead, shambling horrors in the corner that are very fascinated by a rock that was thrown over there. For how long, who knows? But fascinated they remain. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Is how many drawers are there in the desk?
There's this big one big drawer that extended out with all of this. It was locked, which seems to be why it wasn't destroyed or taken away by the Cologneons.
Anyone has seen any kind of film ever, I want to go underneath the desk and see if there's any like bloop hidden stuff. Like, I know one character look to help, but I think Tax is probably occupied.
Don't know what a film is, but I've seen plays where that's the case. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Make an investigation check. They're going to help you, which as an expert sidekick means you get a +6 to the roll as well.
Really hope
Advantage as well.
Like check if there's a
Advantage
false bottom.
and a +6.
I really hope
Very
it's a
good
note.
when Garrick helps people do
Yeah.
I really hope it's a note from Diana's mother saying, "Diana,
Get
stop."
the fuck out of my desk.
things. I'm a divination wizard. I knew this would happen.
I knew this would happen. God damn it, brother. Didn't help you, did it? Jesus.
Wow.
What am I doing? Sorry.
Investigation.
I'm just
Investigation
okay.
check. Advantage +6. Oh, plus a D6. Sorry, plus a D6.
24.
24. You are feeling underneath for a latch of some kind. Your hands are just like scrambling around until you do find something which you pull against.
A massive alarm.
It feels like fucking alarms blare. It said, "Someone is stealing from this desk. Everybody come kill them." No. You feel something give way, and there's a space there. And as you reach forward, it feels suddenly very cold. Not harmfully cold, but as though you were outside on a winter's day. You have felt a familiar coldness on this investigation check. You have felt this when you've been in an extra-dimensional space reaching into the bag of holding, as your hand extends into the space. Not a secret drawer, so much as a secret extra-dimensional space underneath the desk.
How far up does it go? Like,
as long as your arm keeps going up.
Okay.
Same as in the bag of holding, very Mary Poppins-esque.
Stick your whole head in it.
Yeah, I mean, can I do that?
There's not enough space to stick your head up and under it.
Yeah.
You sort of reach in. You know, if you think of something, grasp. There is no spellbook when you reach for them.
Papers, anything that belonged to Thaliasis. Oh, fuck!
You're thinking of papers, and you grip something, you pull out, and you see some very nice spell writing paper. Lots of it, enough that you don't think for a while you're going to have to worry about having enough components to write in add spells to your spellbook.
Ink.
You grab ink, same story.
Spell components.
You're just thinking generally spell components. You reach your hand back and it's full of bat shit. It's just guano in your hand.
I don't have the spell, so I'll put it in my pocket.
You put that shit in your pocket.
Floating around in there.
Can I? No. You know what I'll do? You know what I'll do? I'll be like, look at that, and I'll pass it to Garrick.
He's like, okay, okay, right, okay. He just sort of puts it gently on the ground.
No, that's important. Okay.
Not so, is it?
Not right now.
There are good farmers that take care to get all that shit.
Money.
You reach in for money. You feel a singular coin in your hand. As you pull it back, it is a single copper piece.
Weird. Pocket that. Um.
Something you need for Milo.
Oh yeah, incense.
Incense. There is a bundle of incense, one that you could cast Find Familiar once with. Reaching for more, you do not find any more than one. So, you don't remember your mother ever having a familiar, so it's a bit of a...
Yeah, no.
It's
I
certainly the
don't
right
remember.
stuff for it.
What else would be spell component?
Maybe she just liked incense.
Other shiny
Always
things.
miserable.
Other shiny things.
Shiny things.
Rubies,
things.
sapphires.
Rubies.
Rubies, diamonds, gems,
You...
gemstones.
You're thinking of shiny things, which is vague. You reach your hand and pull back. There is a small... it's not quite a ladle so much as a spoon that is too big to be a eating spoon. It's more like a smaller ladle, serving spoon, sort of curved spoon kind of thing. Looks like it could serve as a kitchen implement. Looks a very silvery metal, but it's...
Okay, that's silver. Okay, like diamonds, gems, crystals.
Nothing comes back for diamonds, gems, or crystals.
Rubies.
Rubies. Nope. Gemstones of any kind seem to be in this space. Books. No books.
No mementa.
No memento is on the table in front of you. When you say no memento in this, I think no memento in this space, nothing extra comes out.
Roll.
Actually, would she? I need to think about Thalia as a character. Also. She would have that there. She didn't. If you think no memento in this space, I think you get a couple sheets of paper, and when you look at it, it looks very like scrap paper drawn on. You see columns of like pro con, most obvious thing, and then listing of clearly like scrap paper used to make a decision. You see more pros and cons listed in your mother's hand.
I will. Is Garrick looking? Yeah.
Garrick is there. Yeah, he's
Okay. Then I'll put that somewhere very safe.
cool.
Diana.
That's a good idea.
You think Diana. Your hand touches something soft in this place. Something soft.
Something soft.
As you. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's your mother.
It's your mum. She put it in
Severed head.
No. As you pull it out, there's a small. It's a very raggedy-looking puppet doll kind of looking thing.
I remember
You vaguely
this.
remember having this as a child.
I
you
remember
think-
this.
Like a very old toy.
Smells kind of the same.
It smells like kid. It smells like toddler. Yeah.
And batshit.
Basically.
Well.
And shit, yeah. I did think of something just now. Dad.
You think of your dad. You think of his name. Nothing comes out in that space.
It's offensive, isn't it? Keys. School.
Ghoul?
The school, like the.
Ghoul.
You said ghoul. Oh,
Of
God.
course
I know what
it's
a
ghoul.
Error.
No.
I misspoke. Like
I'll save some time now. You think of various things. Nothing else seems to get your grasp. I think you've taken out of here everything you can possibly think of, or all there is in there. There doesn't seem to be a way to invert this as you would invert a bag to just jettison everything out. It's a desk. You can't invert a desk.
Locket.
Listen, how I could invert.
There is no locket. There's no locket.
Sure.
Can I think of anything that belongs to any of the staff members here?
There's nothing that belongs to any of the staff members beyond herself, and that's what you've taken out, if that makes sense. About them, Telvarion doesn't seem to have anything. There's nothing like belongs to Telvarion in here.
And Isledwyr?
Isledwyr. I'm going to say on that maybe you pull out what looks like almost like a small bit of metal, no bigger than a 50 pence piece. That is a Triskelion pattern. No notations, no writing, no gemstones or embellishment other than this small metal Triskelion.
Okay. Okay, cool. That's that. I'll put my hand out there.
Mm-hmm. Those food drudges fucking love that stone, I can tell you what. They are so invested.
They're studying. They've taken out notebooks and pens.
Exactly.
Something made a noise. It must be a rat, and they're going to find it.
Turns out they were like into geology
that rat.
when they were alive.
Yeah, it must be. Anything behind before we go?
Anything behind you in a space? There are various books. I think in the office there would be a copy of Arcane Primer on Divination. You essentially would be like Apprentice's first spellbook. You see in this primer there is a copied version of Detect Magic, Tongues as well. I think that's all that would be in the Arcane, the sort of Apprentice's primer. You see, almost as a thought experiment for people to determine later, there is not a spell scroll, but the written spell of scrying.
Yes.
No arcane focus for it, obviously, but there are maybe ways to source them. Certainly there's a giant fucking crystal ball.
Put my hand back in the fucking desk. Put my hand back in the desk. Fuck.
If you say arcane focus for scrying and you hand him a desk, fucking nothing happens.
Do I know the arcane focus for scry? Does it say on the thing?
Yes. Make an Arcana check as you're reading it at advantage because you have you have the textbook on it.
Oh, I know what it is.
You know what it is, yeah.
I know what it is.
We know what it is.
Arcana.
Arcana advantage because you have the textbook practically written by your mother. Regarding
23.
23. You know the component of the spell is perhaps best described as components. The singular most important thing is a best described as expensive item, which can focus one's magic into a visual image, such as the reflection of a crystal ball, a silver mirror, the reflection of water on a font of holy water. Your mind immediately, crystal ball here. I saw that fucking hoodoo drudge in a big font of water at the front of this place as well. Whether that's exactly what it's for, certainly would serve. The hourglass, the like brass hourglass thing, not quite sure what that's for yet.
The hourglass, something to do with time, past, present, future.
Kind of time thing, yeah. Time of the future, it's what scrying's for. Yeah, this is like the two sides of it. What's happening right now, what's happening yesterday, today, tomorrow, in this office. But it continues to say that the components of a spell are not limited to this and can be expanded upon, especially regarding the target of the divination. The likeness or picture of a target makes it easier to see them. Far better a possession or garment and far exceeding that by more than double, a part of their body, hair, nails, blood, all far, far better than the image or possession of an individual. The actual body of them is invaluable in tracking them.
Can I go back into the desk of holding?
Yep.
Crystal ball. Mirror.
No crystal ball, no mirror.
Mirror. Hair?
You find like a loose hair.
I'll
But
keep
somehow
it.
ended up in.
I'll keep it. I don't know whose it is, but I'm gonna fucking
You don't know
scry on
whose it
them.
is.
I'm gonna fucking scry on them. Blood?
No blood in.
Vials? Potions?
No vials, no potions.
Okay, that's it. I feel like I've pushed my luck. Let's go.
Speaking of pushing your luck,
Exactly. It's time, it is time.
watch as one of these hooded rush turns around and goes, maybe there's not a rat there, and is going to survey the room. Once again, leaps onto one of these brass rings, which gives a little under the weight as you see it like begin to spin the whole mechanism around them, and they sort of like absorb around it kind of thing as they balance on this, sort of surveying the room. Nobody's within 30 foot, I believe. They have disadvantage. They are searching, but have found nothing yet. But they don't seem to be entirely giving up the hunt, other than they are hanging, sort of gently swaying on this revolving mechanism.
What is that thing? What's it look like? Oh, that
Like,
is the hourglass.
if you zoom, it's like an hourglass in the center that seems to be held in place by concentric brass rings that are fixed in place to each other, but seem to be able to move near independently of each other.
Like a
Such that the hourglass could be moved in 3 dimensions however one wished to position the hourglass, if that makes sense.
They're not super interested in that, are they? So it's.
They don't seem interested in that. It doesn't look like it's glowing
not very
magically.
magical, yeah.
No. They can see the orb, probably. It's glowing. Magic things do that.
I'll use scan to Diana, like, got what you need.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, we can go.
Taxes.
Hmm.
And I believe Halibut, because both of you have stayed behind at this orb. Is Halibut particularly staring at this orb?
Oh yeah.
Okay, Taxes, I believe you're staring at this orb as well. The image is, it's crystal clear behind the layer of glass here. As you move body parts, it follows. It's like some kind of reflection. But you know it's not a perfect reflection. Can't be. Do anything?
If anyone's looking, you would see like Taxes going through like loads. Like at first she's like proper pissed, you know, when she goes pissed. And then she gets confused. And now she's just staring blankly.
Dagwen definitely notices the two of you as a protector, and Dagwen is now looking in the orb as well. Love it. Looking in the orb. Doing anything beyond watching?
No. Staring, like trying to burn the image into my brain.
Okay.
What he's seeing isn't surprising him. It's just.
I should clarify. You as a player know what, why Halibut is seeing the image they are. Halibut is just seeing this and does not know why the orb is showing them this.
Right. Okay.
They do not know that this is what the orb does. You as a player need to for you to be able to visualize this properly.
Mm-hmm.
Halibut is just seeing the end result and does not know how the orb got that.
In that
To
case,
stroke his beard.
Taxis goes back to being pissed.
It's a roller coaster with you. Yes, you ready to leave?
I think Dagwen says, I think we should go. This feels wrong. And just waves towards the crew at the desk. Start moving out.
As the camera slowly pans away from Halbert, like he wipes a tear from his eye.
Yeah. Having picked a path here, yes.
Yeah, as we go back out, like, I'm definitely gonna have like another look. And it's like,
It's clear as it was before. Nothing, I believe nothing's changed between when you approach the desk and when you are leaving the room.
go that side. Okay, never mind.
If nothing's changed that would affect the thing you're seeing, Diana sees the same thing.
And it's moving like.
Moving as you are, like a reflection in the crystal.
I'll do like a. What is Garrick like when he's passed? He passes.
He definitely does like double takes. He's looking past again, sort of shakes his head and keeps walking forward.
Is it glass?
Crystal of some kind, clear crystal.
Is it hard though? Is it?
If you go and touch it with a little hard and thick, not thick, but a moderate layer of dust and grime on there. Enough to see a reflection through, but not enough to. Definitely clearer if you like the way, but the image remains the same.
Guys.
And then Phil losing their minds.
Fucking look in the fucking orb, bastards.
Ponder the orb.
I will not ponder. Like there's.
Come on.
Dewey's not looking at it. Dewey's
there are monsters
focused.
Drawn to magic, like over there. Like Dewey, to be honest, is seeming that thing's glowing, and is a fucking orb.
Yeah.
Like to be honest, he's kind of on edge anyway. Like, why aren't they just swamping it?
Because I guess the magic's on the inside of the glass.
Or more that you imagine. The magic means they can see it, not necessarily that they can draw from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
They know it's there. It's been there.
Inside of the crystal.
It's nothing new.
Or
they are drawing from it, and it's just sustaining them.
Did we? I can't remember from last week, but did we figure out that like abilities and stuff were not magical? They weren't drawn to abilities, were they?
They were, somewhat.
Somewhat, yeah.
Like from Halbert's, setting his sword on fire, turning it into lightning, acts as a cantrip. Him summoning his brothers, like less than a cantrip, but it still draws them in.
Magical-based abilities seem to have an effect akin to casting a cantrip, but actual casting of spells seems to be the most powerful thing that draws them. Most powerful draw. But the orb remains. Are you moving on?
Is everyone else moving on?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if everyone's moving on, Taxis will move on.
Quite quickly, yeah.
Dewey's gone to like.
She would like to storm off, but she can't.
The edge, but is waiting for like Diana's like, yeah, we should go because they know this is where she wanted to go to.
Same.
Yeah. So a bit like, yeah, we should go. And then I think, can I say that like Garrick goes first, and then Diana. They'll have like another look in there, and then as we're going out, just like Bree has just had that idea, and I want to just do some bad stuff.
Okay.
Oh no.
As
I know.
Diana takes up the rear, as people are picking a path fairly easily at this point, knowing where they were, remembering to time it with this one that's circling. Yeah, everybody's sort of like kind of a point where we've just waited. They know that they can dash past now that this one is like maybe just past this route that it's doing.
Yeah.
You
I
haven't
decide if I'm gonna do a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do my thing.
Do it.
I know what you're going to do. Or I know what you want to do.
Yeah.
Oh no. I think you should do it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I think I should do it as well. But there's things in my hands, in my pockets and stuff. But I don't think that'll.
You
Do it.
are pondering the orb. And as you do so, Garrick...
Yeah.
Garrick's going to see if they notice you. Garrick does not notice that you have stayed behind. On a natural 2, Garrick has not noticed that you've stayed behind with the orb.
I went back.
You go back to the desk?
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna put my hands like on the desk. And I'm
Okay.
gonna do my thing.
You put your
I'm
hands
gonna
back
sit
on the
down
desk.
just like Mama would. And then
Alright.
and now I'm gonna die. Everyone else should run away.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm glad I didn't
Your
go away
head
from
as a... Hopefully, I'm correct in assuming you use your psychometry. Your head snaps back. You see...
It's way better than I thought you were gonna do.
Really? What did you
Oh
think?
yeah.
What did you think?
I thought you were gonna cast scrying right then and
Right,
there. on the
yeah.
fucking orb.
It was just
I thought you were going to use
that
psychometry
bit.
on the orb, but this is cool as well.
Oh shit! I should have. Nah.
Your head snaps back. You see your mother sat at the desk. You see... you see as somebody's walking in and say, "Congratulations, Diviner." And you see a maybe younger-looking Thalia Ursus sort of left on her own here for the first time, runs a hand along the desk. This is the only thing in here. Currently, there's no orb, there's no hourglass. Just running their hands along as she slowly stands behind the chair that you know your body is currently in. Puts both hands sort of along it, takes a deep breath, a sigh of I've made it, success kind of thing. You move rapidly through. There's a lot of history in this chair, and you do not have long to pick pieces out. You see as they are sat there in this space, you see a book come across their desk as they are writing various things. You see that they're working on multiple books at once. One called the Arcane Primer on divination, focusing on the esoterica of divination and how to make it more exoteric, how to actually take what can be unknown and make it knowable. At the same time, seems to be working on the book that you found in section 69. Is in the corner. Seems to be working on another one that is about her life growing up in the forests of Fenrion. Another quick snap through, and you see she's suddenly standing up from a chair, slamming her hand on the desk, and she says, I appreciate you do not understand this, but this is an opportunity for us, and this could change things for the better. You hear almost Scottish bro come through. No, you don't understand, okay? This is madness. We have existed here for a long time in safety. That's what the towers represent, to risk it all for the sake of what? A madman's vision? You watch your mother again, he is not a madman, okay? You know that he's not. You have seen who is on his eye, and Telvarion's vision is not madness. It is truth. We have seen it. It exists. And Aldous says, I can't follow you in this. You know that I can't. I'm not going to. When the vote comes up today, I am going to be against, and I hope to all the gods that you're with me. I've followed you. I love you in my own way. But I am not going to do this with you. I'm not going to risk everybody here. You see at this point, the orb and the hourglass are both in the room. This is more recent. There is a space that goes between this time and the final thing you see. Your mother is at her desk. There is a empty bottle of wine. And you see Novamenta in front of her with the scramblings of pros and cons as well on there. You see that, not having had time to view it yourself, there is other pages where you see essentially it's like voted against. People voted against this. That was the end result of a poll that they were talking about. You watch as they put the scrap paper up into the secret compartment. They put Novamenta in the drawer, into slide, and then slam it heavily, causing a bottle of wine to roll and fall off the table with a smash. Watch as they rub their head. Clearly has had a very, very long day. Stand up. Suddenly have a quizzical look to their face. And begin moving with purpose away from the table. As you begin to feel your vision fade back.
Can I follow? Can you walk in these things?
You are
They
tied
like
to
it.
the object,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you can try and do what you've done before and use your charisma to push into the vision, risking something.
Yeah. Where was she walking to? Just out of there?
Out of the room. Away from the desk, out to the front door.
I don't think I'll push it, but I will walk after her, and then obviously I'll let go of the desk and stuff.
You let go of the desk as you're walking. You see, suddenly as you snap back into yourself, looking up from the desk, you see Garrick had not noticed, so I'm going to assume Taxis for the passive is able to see suddenly as with heavy warbling as suddenly all three of these ones here, definitely within 100 feet, are leaping up onto this brass and are advancing towards where Diana is sat at this desk. The two of you are probably the only ones who get to have a round before these things close in 30 feet. Are you doing anything?
Yeah, I'll throw a dagger at the closest one.
No! What the fuck? What?
All right.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna leave. Can I just go? Can I just run? I'm running.
Well,
Oh no!
No, wait, hold on. If they're advancing towards Diana, hold on.
They're advancing towards
Oh my
Diana
God.
they're advancing towards Diana's space with purpose. You don't know if they've seen her or
Okay,
if
but
detected her
okay,
casting
that's
this
fine.
thing.
I thought they saw them. Track back. I thought they saw her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
fair
have.
enough.
It's just that. Oh.
Well, no,
No,
they haven't
boy.
seen Diana. They've just seen a pulse of magic, and they're gonna
Okay,
run
that's
towards
fine.
that pulse
I'm
of
gonna
magic. If
instead-
Diana's missing, then yeah.
I'm gonna instead go here,
Mm-hmm.
away from them, and then just hold my dagger ready. Yeah.
So you hold your dagger ready to do something,
Yeah.
and Diana, you have less than 6, 5, 4, as you see these things as they are beginning to hungrily approach. If
How
you're
far can
running,
I get in that time?
give me a stealth check with a straight roll, because
30 feet.
disadvantage and advantage are cancelling out here. There's an active magical effect going on. And they are all
10.
looking. That's passive perception's going to do that. As they all round towards your position, and they're going to more excitedly warble in the hallway. You see the other ones in the hallway begin to excitedly warble as well, as some kind of cry is set out, as these ones stop paying attention to the stone and start walking down here as well, as they are rounding
I wanna
towards
go.
the door here.
Yeah.
I want to leg it, and I also, if want to dodge or whatever it is.
You have 60 foot, yeah?
Yes.
You probably get to a little further than that, as they are initially maybe go a bit here, but 30 foot going to there. Yeah. You watch as these open mouths or open necks or open towards where you are. Alex, as you see this one very briefly, is observing in your direction. I think this Garrick is the closest one back now. We're not quite in initiative, as they are like aware. I feel we're not in initiative.
Gonna keep running.
Yeah, I guess keep running. As you're going past there, this one probably takes one swing of attack opportunity against you.
Yeah. So I will dodge. Is it dodge? It's not disengage.
Dodge. Disengage. So you're moving slower as you sort of like step between them. So you get 30 foot. These things are probably now right upon you. And the ones on top are going. I assume you're just running at this point.
I'll tell everybody else as I run.
Yeah.
As you sort of run past, ones in the other rooms file behind you. Everybody make me... There's no stealthing at this point. You're running so fast, there are warbles of these things behind you. This is... I think this is an athletics... Because their pace is 30 foot, your pace is 30 foot. You're running.
Acrobatic.
Your pace is 45, but the lowest amongst you is 30. The same as theirs.
How tall is the ceiling?
Oh.
You're not highlighting.
10 foot.
Acrobatics as we leap across.
I will allow an acrobatics or athletics check as you're trying to outpace them.
Doing it digitally.
Oh, thank God for that.
Oh, good. That's another 4 digitally as well as IRL.
Oh, got 23.
Average. Painfully average. At running as well, in heels.
Ooh.
15.
15.
21.
I'm okay with being the slowest. It's not my thing.
I'm an 8-year-old man.
I'm still slower than you.
I have a walking cane.
Still slower than you.
That's right. I have a +7 in my acrobatic.
Everybody who rolled under a 15. I need to roll for Dagwen and Garrick.
So many skills no one else had.
Dagwen on natural 1 still fails the athletics check.
Wow.
Garrick, not great, but his acrobatics is. Everybody who rolled under a 15, there are regular moments as you're running that these things catch up with you and take swipes. Do you try and stop and turn, or do you just bolt? And if so, where are you all bolting?
Back down the stairs.
Back down the stairs? And there are more of them down the stairs.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, I think I would try and go out, but I don't know if anyone else.
Offered to you as a DM, but the only place you know these things cannot follow you and pin you down is the library.
Where I'd probably try. Like, if there's still more of them come in, then I'd probably keep running until
I did disable parry.
You did disable parry in this area, but you guys are sprinting out. You guys are either going to fight every one of the ones that is in here, and possibly more of it might come from other areas if they hear the noise, or you're going to sprint out to the library.
I feel like sprinting to the library is the best option.
Yeah.
Fine.
You can't fight them, Doran. You can't.
Too many of them.
I will kill you myself before you get to do it.
We could fight some of them.
No.
Emphasis on some.
And you would still be eliminated.
I want to be
You,
expelled.
everybody who got less than
Okay.
15 on their athletics or acrobatics check, at some point during the run, they catch up with you, they take swipes, and you have to get away. You're going to sustain some damage. Can you remind me who got less than a 15?
Oh,
It's
good.
Dagwen. Dagwen.
Oh,
It makes sense. You had
roll for
longer.
Dagwin.
I rolled for Dagwen.
Oh, okay.
She got a 1.
Dagwen failed. Dagwen
Oh.
got a 1. Ben.
Seeing as this was a seemingly sizable spell, or at least there's now a lot of commotion happening.
It's more that there was 100-foot pulse, and suddenly they started like this big warbling cry. Others heard it and followed on, if that makes sense.
Can I see that that's happening?
You do not notice it's happening until they are emerging from a library and you see the horde chasing them. Because it's not like they all, like, oh, something huge went off, they all rushed to the halls of learning. That would be instant death. The 100-foot meant the 3 of them in there noticed Diana. Diana was able to just about outrun them, and as they are outpacing everything that is catching up with them behind them, if that makes sense. They're just out trying to outsprint what is following them now that they know something's there.
Cool.
We'll be back with you soon.
In that case, then,
Rejoining your necklace.
It's fine, we're running.
might work, might not.
We're just gonna run to you.
Yeah, as that's happening, I am gonna point at a wall or something that is like somewhere that they would turn, hopefully, into to give them a little, at least a little bit of breathing room.
You don't know.
Pretty wide expanse between the library and
You
the.
don't know this is
If
happening.
I put
to
you
We're
back,
inside.
That's what I just asked, whether I could see that you were coming out.
once they exit from the halls of learning, to put you back on the map on the Roll20 between you and the halls of learning, that's like the space between where they emerge and where you are able to see them again.
Is there any kind of rubble or ruin?
Yeah, there's rubble and ruin everywhere, but yeah, I will allow that.
A 5 to 10 foot wall.
Yeah,
ideally.
Make a perception check. I think it's fair to say. See something suitable.
15.
Yeah, 15. Yeah, you see like a rubble wall, part of the exploded bit over here that landed over here.
Yes, Whisper, I agree. I hope this plan works too.
No, that's Harriet.
Oh, is it not Whisper for a change?
Sorry, I need to sort this because he's
Obey.
out the door.
Obey.
I'm going to
Okay,
scream
the
at you,
floof.
but I'm also going to get you to pick me up and put me out.
Right, sorry about that.
That is fine.
Not pleasant.
I am
very pleasant.
I'm going to point at hopefully the tallest brick on that wall, and I'm going to cast Toll the Dead at it.
Oh no.
It's a cantrip.
No.
What?
That's not how it works.
Toll the Dead is focused
Yes,
on
it is.
you.
It is a point. Like
No.
Yeah, but it's from
You
the
were
Okay,
spell's
there,
original
hang on.
source.
But
Okay,
you
let me
know,
ask my question.
Yeah, so you were there because you obviously
Okay.
weren't here last
you were there
week.
to know that.
It's the casting of the spell. They are drawn to the person. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
then
We
then
did
I
a
will
whole
shut up.
experiment on it.
That I missed that bit. I will shut up and let you carry on.
Sorry.
I
Yeah.
would certainly say you can help distract by casting cantrips to keep them drawn towards you, so they have a clear entrance to the hallowed ground of a library, rather than having to jump through the horde to get there.
Then I will keep doing that. I will keep trying to move the horde that is in front of me around, so it's at least as clear a run for them as possible.
Clear run from there.
Yeah, because we want to go in there, don't we?
I'm going to roll this as though there were a couple attacks on everyone. So the best way I can think to do this is going to be.
So can I be dodging the whole time?
You can be dodging, but they would be
You won't
dashing.
running.
They would be dashing up to you, and they would.
okay. No, that's fine. Carry on.
Cool. I'm just going to roll some dice about it. I think those checks were enough that you get away.
Well,
You certainly sustain some damage along the way. As long as no one goes down, we're okay.
We know the divination sect is cleared out now.
Yes, you know, there's nobody left in the divination
Well,
area.
the other bits might be as well because it's 100 foot.
I don't think it goes through walls.
It does.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
Does it? Those
They
other
were
ones didn't seem
coming up the
interesting.
stairs.
There were a bunch of them that didn't seem interesting. They were in range.
You and Dagwen, representing 4 of these hits, reaching you on the long way through, both take 43 points of damage.
Oh,
Jeez.
backward.
Only 4 of these hits landing on the long run between here and the library. And when you arrive, you are both under the effect of 1 level of exhaustion, as you have room. Actually, no, I think. No, yeah. Both under the effect of 1 level of exhaustion.
What kind of thing is it? Is it necrotic?
It is
Because it's pretty shit.
piercing and slashing.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, okay, that's not dead at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when Diana gets there, you can see she's just like absolutely just covered in scratches.
Okay.
There are now maybe 80 of these things. There is no more point in the non-hallowed area. It's like, if this was a bubble, there is no point of a bubble out of here now. It looks clear. As all of these things are rounding on you, you see your blood on some of their hands. As Dagwen is like clutching their side, pushing themselves forward.
I want to when you get in and you just want to just fall to the ground and then just watch as this ridiculousness is happening in this snow globe.
As you do so, Piri appears unbidden. Just, oh dear, are you okay?
No, Piri, other students have been very mean.
Oh, other students have injured you. Well, I must tell the staff member at once. And they're gone.
No.
Oh, oh.
Well, I best heal myself.
And somewhere within that miasma of coloured light in the distance, you see a sudden appearance. Just a spot, tiny dot, smaller than an ant, of purple and green. Piri's purple and green. And that, I feel like, is probably good enough point, even though it's a little bit early.
Quite early.
Quite early.
Oh, man.
Unless there's not much more to do. Well, there's more to do, certainly.
How
No,
long?
we'll keep going.
It's the best possible.
Yeah.
We'll keep going.
cliffhanger, you
As
son
that.
of a bitch.
Ooh, it's a good cliffhanger, though, isn't it?
It is. Oh.
How long do we have? Oh my gosh.
We'll go. I mean, it's not
We have
quite
at
early.
least
We
4
aim for
minutes.
11 and we never hit it. So,
We do. We usually aim for
you know what? We'll go a little bit longer as you see that appear. And it's hard to see amongst the wall of bodies between you and there. But yeah, Piri's gone to tell teacher.
Holy shit.
Likes of grass.
I thought that she would eliminate them. But then,
No, you haven't been
'cause
killed.
They didn't kill you.
no, they didn't kill me. Oh well.
They have hurt you, and that's definitely against the rules.
Well,
Ah.
that's fine. I want to meet him anyway.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
Halibut pulls out some bandages and starts wrapping up Diana.
fucking look at
As
it.
you are,
It's real
let's
gross.
do that then. We've got 5 minutes.
I mean,
You're wrapping up Diana in this moment. In this distance, you see this.
8 plus 12.
You talk amongst yourselves about what you are talking about here in this
Yeah,
space.
sure.
You see this roiling horde around you.
We can roleplay forever.
Cool. It's not. You won't have to be for too long.
Another 8 plus 12 for Dagwin.
Does it 8 plus 12? So.
It's
Thank
8
you.
plus hit die. No problem.
Am I still bloodied technically? I can't do maths.
Well,
I
that
felt.
went as poor as it could have been, I guess.
No, I'm not bloodied. Well done.
I mean, it's further than we thought we would have.
It's very true.
I'm like sat on my butt and I'm.
Why didn't we attack the students before we alerted the entire sector?
Why didn't
Right.
Yes.
we?
The idea was he was gonna go and do that, I guess, but
Well, Piri wasn't there. I asked why specifically left to do to summon Piri. We could have just made the students vanish without a trace.
Yeah, but they'd still know.
We could have just teleported out of there.
Well,
Suddenly out of 50 years.
what do we do now if the beam
Yes,
is some kind of super undead thing?
it is. It's called a lich.
Can't
You
come
know
in
what
here
it
then, can
is.
it?
It sounds horrible.
I will clarify. Green said the best thing, most accurate description of it would be a lich. The closest thing.
do you reckon I have time to go and run in and get my book?
You don't know.
No, it's fine. I'll leave it.
You're muted then.
Please
How
go and get your things.
how
I'm just gonna
about
look at them all like as this massive horde of. It's like, please go and get your things.
Halbert's gonna light up his sword with frost? No, lightning, and he's gonna light up his crossbow with lightning as well.
I don't think we don't know who this person or thing or undead or whatever it is. We don't know who he is. Okay. We
No, we don't.
don't need to attack anybody.
I'm not saying attack first.
Quite right.
Definitely
But
saying be
so,
prepared to be
Be
attacked.
prepared. Okay, maybe, but I think we need to all just chill out. It's still a person of some description. We can have a conversation.
It's gonna
Okay.
turn and look at you and go, what about them?
They are over there, and we're in here.
For now.
We don't know how long the barrier will last. It's quite an old barrier. We want to test it over a long period of time.
This place has been here for like hundreds of years.
It has.
Yes, but it probably hasn't dealt with that much stress.
It hasn't had 80, 90, 100, 1,000 of these goddamn mana eaters sucking at the shield for
They're not
a long
sucking
period
at
of time.
the shield because they go away from the shield. If it is undead, we're safe-ish on this side.
For how long?
Yeah,
You
Don't
should go
know.
get your stuff.
please go get your stuff.
I'm also summoning hand.
Yeah, I'll bolt inside then to get my bow.
It's less of an argument, more just a, oh god.
Yeah.
Please go get your stuff.
I'm not getting my stuff. Like I
Okay.
stay there. Like everyone else could go get their stuff, but I stay.
And I'm just gonna turn and talk to you then. Just be like,
Don't you have any
Yeah.
stuff to get?
just gonna literally look down and go, I literally wear everything I own.
Oh, it's fair.
You really think we can talk with this thing?
Yeah. I do.
And if he doesn't want to talk,
I'm sure he will.
boundless confidence.
Yes. This is the kind of confidence that comes from wizards. And then I kind of look around at the fucking opulence. Like, oh, this.
Yeah, not to be that guy, but look where that led you all. I
Yes.
No one asked you.
It's may not
Guys,
be
I
the
found a
exact
cat in
right
the
time.
library.
May not be the exact right time, Diana, but I made you a thing. I'm
Oh,
just gonna hand over the crest. It's not perfect. Tried my best.
aw, thanks. That's really sweet.
Mm, it's okay.
You
You
painted this?
didn't. I did. Yeah.
Oh.
You didn't get your invitation letter or whatever, or your thing with your
Aw.
robes and your colours on it, so I thought I would do what I could.
That's so sweet. Thank you.
Thanks. It's I haven't painted in a long time.
Yeah. That's good. You should do it more.
Yeah.
Maybe add some red into it though.
I don't know what. I literally opened the pot up. It's like, look, I've got blue, I've got green, I've got like Astra turquoise in here, and I open up the red pot, and it is just empty, just like completely dry. Just I don't know what hell I did with it.
Oh, Halai. Yeah, no, he likes red.
I know he likes red, but like, how did he use all of this?
He probably painted his face.
Probably.
He has a big face.
He's got a really big face.
Yeah.
I'm running out of red in real life because of highlights.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Makes sense.
When I come get my bow and come back out, is there a feasible place for me to hide out there?
No.
Um,
Not within the wall of 80, maybe now 100. Crawling hood drudge are riding over top of each other trying to get in here.
Only
Do
if we had some sort of large explosive.
Nope,
No.
Nope.
we do not.
Gonna turn to Dewey and go. It's not gonna do much, but let's go get some tables and make a barricade.
Barricade? Yep. Yeah, and he
Are you
darts
going-
inside.
Are you going inside? Yeah.
Oh god.
Just gonna get a table.
Yes, I'm stepping inside.
No, okay, it's fine. No, I'm like Diana is sat on the floor outside. She's not doing anything, and she's gonna get the like Nova Menta stuff. I know what the pros and the cons, and it's definitely fine if you're going.
Oh, I'm sure I'll find out when you step back through and get blown up to hell. Yeah. Gonna go carry some tables overhead and be like,
Yeah. Yeah, we both will. We're both tiny. We're the tiniest people in the party. Like,
Yep. You get tables to make a barricade. Diana, you look. You see your mother's notes and the actual like pamphlet Nova Menta. Your mother's notes seem to have a few things. Again, this pro and con column, a lot of has worked previously. Education is the way forward. A lot of dancing around without actually going into detail of exactly what it is, but certainly going into a lot of pros. A con you see is like might incur the wrath of the Cologneon royal family, might incur the wrath of the Rents family. You see the Rents family being a con and a big arrow pointing it to the pro column at some point in a different pen or different ink as well. That were initially a con and eventually decided it was a pro, and so has moved it over.
Don't like them.
But you also have a pamphlet, the Nova Mentor pamphlet.
Yeah.
You open the first page, and it begins. It says, "Dear esteemed colleagues, peers, and students, I have had the recent sadness of being absent from our towers of learning. This was upon a personal quest to take in the known world, to better understand the arcane knowledge of Osasris and its people. I can tell you magic flourishes in all corners of this world. Despite our intrepid and persistent efforts, we are far from the greatest among these seekers for knowledge." Flip page. "Have no doubt amongst yourselves, I see every day that we are most fervent and prodigious and clever in our learning. But the scholars of Heed eclipse us. To what then do they owe their marked and unrivaled mastery of the wizarding arts? My friend, I have fought long nights on this and found a simple truth. For you see, the nation of Ascana is not just home to these unparalleled wizards, it is ruled by them." You flip a page. "The majocracy of their nation rules fairly and justly with tempered thought, not petty politicizing. They know the value of themselves and their work and put it at the height of importance. The benefits may flow down to all. And in Ascana, all reap of the rewards that their mages sow at all levels of class. And for that no race or prejudice haunts their towns and villages, no backwater yokel fears or killers of the unknown. No, they are given the knowledge to know no fear." Next page. "Having returned to my home, I am overjoyed to see my colleagues thriving as ever, pushing new heights to rival our neighbours, yet so deeply perturbed by the limitations we so easily seem to have lived with. Why do we see the royals of Colonia cap the unbridled potential for greatness we hold in ourselves? We have such goodness to bring to this world and such power to enact it that I find myself troubled, sleep plagued by the question, why not? Why not use flip of the page, sorry. Why not us to lead Colovia into a better tomorrow? The brightest minds of a generation, guided by the wisdom and learning of the brightest minds of every generation before them. Why not us to hold the reins of the nation's better interests, to carve a path to greatness, to shape a better tomorrow? Who amongst you can truly say you do not see the nation in tumultuous, ever-repeating patterns of failure and know that your counsel would lead us right? I say if our counsel falls on deaf ears, it is the fault of the council." Page turns. "I have in total surmised that it is not the supposed royal bloodline of a long-dead hero that needs to sit a throne and tell us our business. Far better for us to work together and tell them about the matter by which we shall rule our new nation under exciting, brilliant, and novel ideas, a new thinking, a nova mentor." Next page. "Should you find these ramblings of a travelled, mad fool, then dismiss me, forget me, speak naught of it. Yet I know there is a part of each of you that see my truth, that have known fear when there should be acceptance, that has seen failure when there could be success. I ask only for your support in my ideas in theory, that we may better consider together the manner of their most beneficent enactment, the truest path to a brighter future, and a nova mentor to rival even Heed. If you can imagine it, we can make it so. We only need to reach forward together, unafraid of losing our chains." The last page of this pamphlet. You see that it is complete. No words missing. Perfectly preserved. And as you see the arriving horde in front of you, far distance near that purple-green light, an ant on the horizon, slowly rising alongside that light.
I will stand up and wait.
That is where we will end today's session.
Oh lord.
Telvalrion knew how to sell. I'll tell you.
He did. Holy.
Did indeed convinced Mama.
And you learn what Novamenta was trying to achieve in their assassination. Well, nothing in here details, but literally just asking about creating a fairy, just talking about it at the moment. Somewhere something changed.
A lot's happened since.
A lot's happened since
then.
Does it have a date, a time?
Just says Novamenta. This has been in the works in my mind and kind of in Ben's mind since Ben told me that the Mages Guild of Colonia was responsible for the initial assassinations. I was like, well, why would they do that?
And in my head too.
Yeah. This is their idea.
Exactly.
This is why they did it.
I'm glad that after all this time, the same thread of thought, without any conversation between the two of us about it, has gone to the same place.
Yeah.
But we will find out exactly. Well, we'll find out who Telvalrion is now. Next time.
Okay. Thank you, Sam. We'll certainly find out what happens next time.
Oh.
Maybe we should have a Rider's Digest or something. Because there's so much going through my head.
I can send you this over as well. I think I might have changed somewhere. I might have added a together here or there. But I can send you the exact wording of Novamenta if you would like.
Yes, please.
Good homework.
Yeah.
For the last episode next week.
Last episode.
Pretend it's the last episode. I mean, if anyone can persuade this guy not to murder us, it's Diana.
Exactly, and also we don't know what the vibe is. Like, he's not gonna be a good guy, but he was trying to face, against the Empire. Who knows? Maybe we can beat the Empire by getting a load of good-hearted chums in the main continent, and then a creepy undead army at our side. Are we the baddies? I don't know.
Yes.
I always say this is written Colonia. This is before it became the Empire.
Yeah,
Long time before
but it's still there must have been a seed of something.
Oh yeah, but very clear.
Absolutely.
Especially the anti-magic and the
Yeah, it
very
must have
racist
been
thoughts
building.
were there before it was an empire. They used that to unite humans against everybody else. Unite an
Are you
empire.
attempting to claim that because there's an undead army, that would make us the bad guys? Have you
Sam.
met Aragon?
Like,
Sam.
I was about to say, like all the traditional monstrous bad guys through society, zombie Hitler and Aragorn.
Sam, can you move
Yes.
us onto the map? You've got a map on Roll20, haven't you?
Of the whole place.
Yeah.
I think you are on there, if I'm not much mistaken.
No, as in on the
Ruins.
Osasris map.
Oh, the Osasris map. Yes, 100% I can. You're on there now.
There you go. Have you uncovered all of it as well?
I have uncovered the western half. Do you want to see everything?
Yeah.
Cover everything.
Here's our map. Some people were asking about it in the chat. Yeah, this is our
There.
map.
around that green area is where we are now, or blue, sorry, area, I might build up. And Heed, which they have held in such high esteem, is up here.
Heed is here.
If you want to see Heed, you can check out our Monday streams where we have practically thrown all the rulership.
Oh yeah, bad things
Yeah.
happened.
We stopped a nuke last time
Yeah.
we were in Heed.
Mages unchecked have done something that might destroy everything. What?
How dare. That is not what has happened.
Wizards in charge forever is not the best way of running things. What?
It was pretty good for quite a while.
It was really good, Sam. Heed has been running very efficiently.
track record
for
than everyone else of the
thousands
continent.
Years. Exactly, it's been running.
Well, the
for-
Wizards of the Tower had clearly voted against it in your
Yes, Bree.
recollection of the memories.
Heed was. What about the country?
Yeah, country was fine.
How's the scanner?
It was
Is
fine.
it true? Is Telvalion right? Is everybody at every class benefiting from mages running the place?
Yes.
Trickle-down economics works.
God, is Asgard just a big pyramid system?
There's
Pyramid
some
scheme?
rusty daggers somewhere that would
Oh, yeah.
beg to disagree.
No one cares about it. They're not magic casters, so no one cares. But yeah, this is
That was
our.
a Jedi.
For those in the chat, this is our homebrew world, and you have this bit, which is the ethereal rapids, which are completely you can't swim it, you can't. Is it traverse? Traverse, is that the right
Best
word?
for like a mountain range, right? Like
It is a mountain.
One mountain in the
One
middle.
mountain.
Yeah, but as in terms of like, if you were thinking of how easy it is to traverse, it's the equivalent of a mountain
everywhere.
range being in your way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's
The large singular mountain is Everest.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, this is you can't. It's a massive rapids. You can't go in there. You will die immediately.
You can still try. Sure, try, Sir Stevens. You
Yeah.
can certainly try.
So it flows in. It goes round. Who knows where it goes? After
Boy, am
that.
I trying.
But yeah, that is our world. We are in the Cologneon Empire. Down here.
A little bit here where
And it's
Sarai,
Right over here at the moment.
a little blue bit there where you can kind of get. We've basically got impossible waters on the right and Sarai on the left, where you can kind of make it through.
Surviving.
Almost, yeah.
The Sarai Strait, where you can get.
But yeah, the Empire is super racist. Hence
Empire is super fucking racist.
super racist. Humans versus non-humans.
Mega
and-
Hitler.
Yeah.
God Hitler.
Mecca.
Believes their god, potentially thanks to the Zealots' heresy, is a god.
So, yeah, that's our world. Get rid of this. In a
Mega
nutshell.
Hitler, crazy wizards,
Mega
and
Hitler
lots of
in
water.
water. Lots of angry water.
Lots of angry water and one random mountain. Okay.
We faced the big bad end game boss. Water. Ah! It's making me clean. Ah!
But yeah, that was super interesting. And if anyone does want to do a Writer's Digest, let me know.
Probably a good idea that we do.
Lots to unpack.
Go into this.
Yeah.
Sir Stevens, we may just need an artificer. May just need one.
I
But
will
for
say
that, you'll have to go back and watch all the past episodes.
another thing. If you
All
wanted
right.
to watch a Rider's Digest, what is that, and where can somebody watch that?
Oh, Writer's Digest is our sort of like behind the scenes chat where we basically chat about what has happened, what potentially will happen, what we want to happen, what our characters are thinking and feeling about everything. We get to ask each other questions and maybe answer them. It depends how you want to keep it secret or not. But yeah, basically it's just like a chat show of what I think characters are thinking at the time. And
Behind the
you can
screens.
behind the scenes, and you can get that by being a patron. Yeah. Phil, I can see Phil working. There it is. But yeah, we post them occasionally. The last one was on stream, public for charity, so that is on YouTube. So have a look at that.
Yeah, I think like our first episode's on YouTube, and now like was it 7th one? What was the charity
Something
one?
like
Can't
that.
remember.
Yeah, the charity one. Yeah. But yeah, we should aim to do them more often. But yeah, we'll do that. Okay.
Okay.
That's it really. For that, we have a couple of things we want to say. So we were in the expo this weekend, just gone, and it was amazing. And
Games Expo,
if you were there, thanks. Hi. Yes, it was. It was amazing to meet everyone and to see some backers as well who came to collect the Kickstarter stuff. And it was just all amazing. With the Kickstarter stuff, this is it. This is the Ritual Spellbook and Witch class for D&D. If you haven't heard us banging on about it before, but this is our sort of like homebrew rules for the witch.
I was just gonna fucking open that page too. God damn it!
Opens naturally onto that page.
Same.
It's a Baba Yaga. So yeah, Diana is not a witch, but she dabbles, as per the feat. But yeah, if you want to go and check this out, the hardcover and the softcover are now on pre-order on the website. So we have just sent out these out to most backers today, and then in the next couple of weeks we're going to be opening it to everybody else as well. It'll be on our Etsy and the website, and then the PDF version is also on the Drive-Thru RPG as well site. But yeah, it's very cool and shiny. We also have a few more stuff on there that Doran is showing off right now. They are the Beginner's Bundle, 3 one-shots, level 1, 2, and 3. Perfect for people who have never DM'd before, or maybe never played, and you want to give that a go. Yeah. Stuff. Also, the Vicious Mockery table, written by Seb. Where are you on here? You're all the way over there.
I got it here.
They're right down there.
Seb.
Where am I?
There. In the corner. Ah! Written by Seb. There we go. Oh, hello. Thank you for the follow. But yeah, that was a massive hit. And I will be putting them on the website and Etsy as well. But yeah, they're like £1. And they're awesome. Cool. Yes, that is it for me. If anyone else wants to say anything, we're going to go and raid and go and talk about when we're going to be doing this Riders Digest.
Who are we going to raid?
We are raiding. Let's check to see if they're still going. Yes, because I've done that before. They have been going for 4 hours though, so they could be ending at any minute now. But we'll find out. But we are raiding Starlight Tales, who are playing some D&D, I believe. They're only on episode 3. So yeah, we'll get in there and watch that.
Let's go over and show them some love.
Yeah. Say hi to them. And yeah, we will see you guys soon. We will talk about whether we're actually playing next week, because I'm not sure if we will. Seb, are you away next week?
Well, no, week after I'm away.
Week after we get to do another one.
Lich gets to kill you all.
And then we'll cry, and then
Yeah.
Seb can come back in a couple of weeks being like, ah, sad. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway. You probably won't be sad. You'll be in sunny suns. Anyway, right, let's raid these people. Okay. See you guys soon. Probably see you on Monday, because I will be running on Monday, because we want to know what happens. Okay. I want to know what happens.
Everybody join our Discord.
Join our Discord. Come say hi.
Okay.
We're gonna go raid now.
Cool.
Let me put you on the screen. Yeah. Right, cool. Yeah, see you guys soon. Bye!
We have fire in our veins and we will break these chains. We're done. We won't be ripped apart. You will be burned and battle scarred. We're tired of assault and bigotry. We'll stand and mock you viciously. Through music we captivate. Through songs and words we propagate. We'll mock and smear and slander. Infiltration, propaganda. After years is finally resolution. It's time to start the revolution. We're done. Time has come, we will stand together stronger than we've ever done. And like the sun, we will rise at dawn and never stop until we've won. The time has come, we will rise like the sun and we'll never run. And we will fight, fight till we won. We will bite, we will smite all through the night. We'll never sleep, never rest. Put the faith to the test, the self-obsessed, self-confessed, self-professed, divinity, nobility. Your God is a fraud, so stop. We're done with the violence and the fury and the cruelty. I said we're done. We will win the war, we'll win the fight, the end's inside. All you see in us is barbarian, but all we want is to be equalitarian. And we will rock, we will never stop, standing on the top of the hilltop, and we will mock, viciously, capriciously. We're tired of assault and the bigotry. You seem so full of wit and chivalry, but when we knock at your door you'll break. We're done. We have fire in our veins and we will break these chains. We're done. We won't be ripped apart. You will be burned and battle scarred. We're tired of assault and bigotry. We'll stand and mock you viciously. Through music we captivate. Through songs and words we propagate. We'll mock and smear and slander. Infiltration, propaganda. After years is finally resolution. It's time to start the revolution. We're done.